This is the latest in baseball news and rumors. The MLB trade market is heating up, and a potential trade between the Twins and Padres could see two big-name players on the move. According to The Athletic's Dan Hayes and Dennis Lin, the San Diego Padres and Minnesota Twins are exploring a trade scenario involving veteran catcher Christian Vazquez and possibly ace pitcher Dylan Cease, setting the stage for a potential blockbuster that could reshape both teams' 2025 seasons. This development follows a fascinating backdrop of player movement, free agent drama, and evolving roster needs for both clubs. Here's a closer look at what's happening and why it's significant. First, let's rewind to the 2022 offseason. Christian Vazquez was one of the hottest catchers on the free agent market. Fresh off a stint with the Boston Red Sox and Houston Astros, Vazquez's combination of elite defense, veteran leadership, and playoff experience made him a sought-after asset. Among the interested teams were the Padres, but ultimately, they fell short in their pursuit of Vazquez. Why? The Twins offered Vazquez something that San Diego and reportedly other teams would not: a 3-year deal. The Padres, along with several others, were only willing to commit to 2 years, and the Twins' extra year sealed the deal. Fast forward to now, and the Padres' need for Vazquez is only intensified. After missing out on free agents and seeing their catching depth reduced to the underwhelming Luis Campusano and Brett Sullivan, the Padres are desperate for stability behind the plate. Even after a down year offensively, Vazquez represents a clear upgrade for a team with playoff aspirations and a roster in flux. It's not the first time that these two clubs have engaged in significant trade talks. Back in 2022, the Twins acquired pitchers Chris Paddock and Emilio Pagan from San Diego in a deal that sent Taylor Rogers and Brent Rooker to the Padres. While Paddock's tenure in Minnesota has been hampered by injuries, the trade established a precedent for collaboration between the two front offices. Now, with both teams looking to address glaring needs, the groundwork is being laid for another impactful exchange. Let's take a closer look at San Diego. The Padres' catching situation is dire. Luis Campusano, their presumed starter, finished the 2024 season with a disappointing .227, .281, .361 slash line and a negative .5 F-WAR. Meanwhile, Brett Sullivan, the only other catcher on their 40-man roster, lacks experience and hasn't demonstrated the ability to contribute at the big league level consistently. Padres' top prospect Ethan Salas, though highly regarded, is only 18 years old and far from MLB ready. Adding to their urgency is the Padres' financial situation. The Padres are projected to exceed the luxury tax threshold, and they're facing pressure to trim payroll, so they desperately need cost-effective solutions. And Christian Vazquez, who is owed $10 million in 2025, fits the bill. Although the Twins may need to eat part of his salary in a deal, whether that actually happens remains to be seen. For Minnesota, trading Christian Vazquez would mean reallocating resources to address other needs. The Twins' catching depth has quietly become a strength, with Ryan Jeffers under team control through 2026, and the recent acquisition of former top prospect Diego Cartaya from the Dodgers. While Cartaya's star is dimmed due to injuries and struggles at the plate, he's still just 23 years old and has upside as a developmental project. Moving Vazquez could clear the way for Jeffers to take on a larger role and allow the Twins to evaluate Cartaya and catcher Jair Camargo as potential long-term options. In addition, trading Vazquez could free up payroll and prospect capital to pursue other upgrades, such as a deal for the Padres ace Dylan Cease. One of baseball's premier pitchers, Dylan Cease has suddenly emerged as a potential trade target for the Twins. The 29-year-old right-hander, a 2-time Cy Young finalist, would bolster an already strong Twins rotation. However, acquiring Cease would come at a steep price. With a $13.75 million salary for 2025 and free agency looming after the season, Dylan Cease's value is significant but also limited by his status as a 1-year rental. Regardless, the Padres are now in a position where they might be forced to trim payroll due to concerns about their luxury tax. Acquiring Cease would give Minnesota a legitimate ace to pair with Pablo Lopez, transforming their rotation into one of the best in the American League. Their starting five would then be Dylan Cease, Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober, and the fifth starter role would be up to Simeon Woods Richardson, David Festa, Chris Paddock, or Zebby Matthews. Adding Cease to this Twins rotation would be a game-changing move which would instantly reshape the AL Central, and it would drastically improve the Twins' chances of competing for a playoff spot in 2025. However, even with only 1 year of control, Dylan Cease won't come cheap. The Padres, who are reportedly open to moving Cease to address multiple roster needs, would demand a significant return. The Twins have the prospect capital to make such a deal work, but it might require parting with top-tier talent. Recent trades, like the acquisition of Diego Cartaya, suggest the Twins are stockpiling assets to make a big move. Could Vasquez be the key to unlocking a blockbuster that brings Minnesota Dylan Cease and clears the way for some long-term catching help? There might be something to this. By quietly building depth at the catcher position, the Twins have given themselves the flexibility to move Vasquez without compromising their roster. At the same time, targeting Dylan Cease aligns with their goal of competing for a World Series while their core is in its prime. And yes, after the brutal 2024 collapse of the Twins, this does seem weird to be talking about. But overall, the Twins roster is still in good shape. But there's more to the story. Ryan Jeffers, the Twins' primary catcher, is under team control for only 2 more seasons before hitting free agency. There's been no talk of Minnesota extending Jeffers before he hits that point. And by acquiring Diego Cartaya and keeping an eye on Camargo's development, the Twins are clearly hedging their bets for the future. This multi-layered approach ensures that they're prepared for both immediate contention and long-term sustainability. For the Padres, acquiring Vasquez would stabilize their catching situation and provide a veteran presence for a team with playoff aspirations. Including Dylan Cease in any deal should also bring them some much-needed cost-controlled players in return, something that they badly need for the future. The Twins are stacked with affordable Major League-ready players, so the teams do match up well. For the Twins, moving Vasquez could be the first domino in a series of moves aimed at bolstering their roster for a playoff run. If the Twins and Padres agree to a deal including Christian Vasquez and Dylan Cease, it will of course include additional pieces to balance the trade's value and salary implications. But what might that look like? Up next, we're going to take a look at 2 realistic trade proposals that could happen.
Hey, I'm Royce Lewis.
I'm Brooks Lee. I'm Pablo Lopez.
I'm Jose Miranda from the Minnesota Twins.
And you're watching Talkin Twins.
And you're watching Talkin Twins.
You're watching Talkin Twins. Here we go.
You're watching Talkin Twins.
Go.
Let's break down 2 potential trade scenarios that could make sense for both teams. In the first trade package, this is all about building for the future. In exchange for Dylan Cease, the Padres would receive Christian Vasquez, Marco Raya, Gabriel Gonzalez, and Junior Severino. This deal gives the Padres a mix of immediate help, long-term upside, and much-needed salary relief. Vasquez provides them with veteran leadership behind the plate, while 22-year-old starting pitcher prospect Marco Raya and 21-year-old outfielder Gabriel Gonzalez add significant value to San Diego's farm system. Junior Severino, a 25-year-old power-hitting first baseman, rounds out the package. The Padres are known to be looking for help in the outfield, and Gabriel Gonzalez could be a long-term piece for them. Meanwhile, Marco Raya is one of the Twins' top pitching prospects, and he alone might make this a very intriguing offer for the Padres. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying this, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. Then over to our next trade package. This is all about win now meets cost control. In return for Dylan Cease, the Padres would receive Christian Vasquez, Edouard Julien, Andrew Morris, Ronnie Enriquez, and Junior Severino. This scenario offers the Padres Major League-ready talent with long-term control. Eddie Julien is a 25-year-old infielder with elite on-base skills and surprising power, and he would fit seamlessly into the Padres roster while remaining under team control until 2030. Andrew Morris, a 23-year-old starting pitcher, finished the 2024 season at AAA, and through his first 3 seasons in Pro Ball, he has a minuscule 2.56 ERA with an impressive 8.8 strikeouts per 9, paired with a low walk rate. He's on pace to debut in 2025 and is the Twins' number 6 prospect. He's been flying through their system and reportedly has attracted a lot of attention from other teams. Ronnie Enriquez is a 24-year-old reliever with a 2.90 ERA and a 1.18 whip. He would give the Padres bullpen some immediate depth, and Severino continues the trend of affordable power bats. With Vasquez filling their immediate catching need, the Padres would check several boxes while managing their salary constraints. So what's the bottom line here? A trade between the Twins and Padres involving Christian Vasquez and Dylan Cease would address critical needs for both teams. The Padres' long-standing interest in Vasquez, coupled with their immediate catching crisis, underscores the urgency on their end. For For the Twins, landing a frontline starter like Cease could elevate their rotation into one of the best in baseball. However, with Dylan Cease's value towering over Vasquez's, Minnesota will need to include significant additional assets to make such a deal work. As the two teams continue discussions, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will the Padres finally land the catcher they've coveted for years? Will the Twins use Vasquez as a springboard to acquire Dylan Cease? This allows the Padres to cut some salary while retooling with young talent. Will the front offices pull the trigger? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this is a storyline worth watching as the season unfolds. We want to hear from you. Drop your reaction, trade ideas, hot takes, and dream scenarios in the comments below. Talkin' Twins is now on Blue Sky Social. There's a link in the description, and we invite you to join us there. And there you have it, you've made it to the end of this episode, and we really appreciate that. Hit the like button down below, then take just 1 second of your time and make sure down below that you are subscribed to this channel. We ask that you do, because that guarantees that we definitely get to see you back here next time. Thanks for watching.